I hate to admit this, but South India is definitely better than North India. Now, hearing this might have offended you. Maybe you're about to type in the comments that culture matters, history matters, or that Bollywood is in the North, and you're not wrong. But if we put emotions aside and look at only the data, specifically look at the GDP, then you cannot ignore this map. Look at this map. This is India's latest district-wise GDP per capita map. Look at it carefully. It looks like two completely different countries stitched together. Look down at the south. It's a sea of blue. Blue means prosperity. Blue means high income. Almost every district is wealthy. Even rural areas are pumping out money. Now look up at North and Central India. Red, deep red, orange. This is not a danger zone. This is party. Bihar's per capita income is roughly $813. Now let's look at Telangana in the south. $4,745. An average man in Telangana is earning 6 times more than an average man in Bihar. If we remove Sikkim and Goa because they are outliers, then the average South Indian state is roughly 300% to 400% richer than the average northern Hindi belt state. We are living in the same country, using the same currency, voting for the same PM, but economically, South India is living in 2030, while parts of North India are still fighting battles of 1980s. It's not just about individuals. Look at the overall contribution. South India, despite having 200 million fewer people, contributes $2.15 trillion, which is 55.5% of India's total GDP. North India, despite being larger, contributes $1.73 trillion, which is 44.5%. The difference is clear. But the question is not, is South better? The map told us that. The real question is, why? And trust me, the answer is much deeper than politics or language. Numbers look good on screen, but what does this mean in real life? Let's take a real life example. Let's look at a travel vlogger named Emma. She traveled across 8 cities in India and shared her honest experience. No sugarcoating. She rated Delhi a shocking -1 out of 10. She described it as overwhelming, filled with constant stares, chaos, and noise. She explicitly said she would not want to live alone there. She even gave Agra a low 3 out of 10, noting that despite the beautiful Taj Mahal, the constant scams and horns made it stressful. Then Emma went down south to Kerala, and the score jumped to a 9 out of 10. She called it the safest and most welcoming state she visited. She specifically praised the safe transport, the polite locals, and the clean streets. She felt a sense of calm and respect that was missing in the north. We North Indians get defensive hearing this. We say, hey, look at Delhi's food, look at the history. But Emma doesn't care about history. She cares about quality of life, and that is our hook. This difference is not just luck. South India has done 3 specific things in the last 50 years that North India ignored. But there is a twist in the story that South India was always educated and rich, and North India was always behind. Wrong. If we go back in time to 1960, the story was completely different. The industrial output of West Bengal and Maharashtra was almost the same. Kanpur was called the Manchester of the East because of its massive textile mills. The gap between Tamil Nadu and UP was there, but it was negligible compared to today. So what happened in the last 60 to 70 years? That one part of India became a rocket and the other part became an anchor. There are 3 big causes behind this, and the first cause was a government policy that school books don't talk about, but it broke the backbone of Eastern India. 1950s, India had just become independent. The Nehru government wanted to build factories across the country. The problem was that all the resources, coal, iron ore, steel, were only in one region, the East. Bihar, Bengal, Odisha. Normally, the rule of economy says build the factory where the raw material is cheap, meaning Tata and Birla should have built their factories in Bihar and Bengal to save transport costs. But the government introduced the freight equalization policy. The government said we will subsidize the transport cost. This means if you are a factory owner, you will get coal at the same price whether you build the factory next to the coal mine in Ranchi or 1500 kilometers away in Mumbai or Chennai. This one decision destroyed market dynamics. If raw material is available at the same price everywhere, why would anyone build a factory in Bihar where there is no port? Investors said, let's move to the coast. Result, North and East India became just raw material colonies. Resources were extracted from there and sent to the south, west to be processed. Value addition, where the real money is made, all happened in the south and west. Bihar got the pollution of mining. Maharashtra got the profit of industry. This policy lasted for 40 years. By the time it was removed in the early 90s, it was too late. The damage was already done. But just the lack of factory is not the only reason for poverty. The real difference came in the people, in the mindset. Let's look at K. Kamaraj. He was the CM of Tamil Nadu in the 1950s. He made a simple observation. Kids don't come to school because they're poor and they have to work in the fields to earn food. So he started midday meal scheme. Come to school, get free food. This sounds like a small thing, but it had butterfly effect. It was massive. Parents started sending kids to school just for the food. But once the kids reached the school, they learned to read. And the biggest difference, women. Look at Tamil Nadu. The highest number of working women in India work in factories there, whether it is automobile, manufacturing or electronics. Why does Foxconn build a plant in Tamil Nadu? Because the women there are educated, they're skilled. When both husband and wife are earning in a family, the income doubles. The party trap breaks. In North India, due to culture and safety issues, women stayed out of the workforce. One man is earning, 6 people are eating, savings equal to 0. In 1991, when India's economy opened up due to liberalization, companies from around the world came to India. Microsoft, Google, they asked, where will we find engineers? South India raised its hand. We have them. North India, they were still stuck in basic literacy struggles. So the IT boom went to Bengaluru, Hyderabad and Chennai, not to Lucknow or Patna. Now let's talk about an uncomfortable truth. South Indian often makes fun of North Indians for those red stains, gutka, pan masala. People say it is dirty, it is uncultured, but they forget that this is not a habit, this is economics. Look at the data from Global Adult Tobacco Survey. In India's poorest states, UP, Bihar, Jharkhand, almost 1/3 of the population uses smokeless tobacco, gutka kheni. Why? Because it is available for ₹5. It is a cheap dopamine hit for a hard life. On the other hand, gutka consumption is low in South India, not because they are morally superior, but because they can afford alcohol. More than 50% of the country's alcohol consumption happens in just 5 southern states. People there don't eat pan masala because they can afford whiskey and beer. So the next time you see that red stain at Kanpur railway station, don't just see it as filth. Understand it is a symptom of poverty. Now let's come to the issue that politicians are afraid to talk about, that is population. Have you ever thought why South's per capita income looks so high in map? Simple math, GDP per capita equal to total income divided by total population. If your denominator population is small, the results will be big. In 1970s, leaders in South India took family planning as a mission. They educated the people. The result is there. Today, Kerala and Tamil Nadu's fertility rate is 1.6 to 1.7. This means the population there is about shrinking. They have reached European levels. And North, Bihar's total fertility rate was close to 3. UP is around 2.4. Population kept exploding there. The resources were the same, but the eaters kept increasing. That's why even if UP grows its economy fast, a common man does not feel rich because the growth is eaten up by the new babies born every year. So now if you ask, what is the problem? If South is rich, that's a good thing, right? The problem is that if in one house, one brother is a billionaire and the other brother is starving, then there cannot be peace in the house. Now a new trend has started, migration. North is moving south for jobs. But the biggest danger is political. The 2026 time bomb. According to India's constitution, the state with the higher population gets more seats in parliament. But in 1976, Indira Gandhi froze the seats. That freeze is going to open in 2026. If seats are distributed according to today's population, Tamil Nadu, Kerala, Andhra, they will lose political power. UP, Bihar, Rajasthan, they will give massive powers. Think about what this means. South India will say, we worked hard, increased education, controlled population, and what is the reward? Our voice in parliament got reduced. And North India, who did not control population, is getting the reward of more seats. Southern states are already asking, why do we give 100 in tax every year and get back only 30, while Bihar gives 100 and takes back 900? This is the fire of subnationalism. And if this gap is not filled quickly, this fire will burn the politics. So now you'll ask, is there a solution? Yes. Look closely at the north again. Gurgaon, Noida, Indore, these are islands of success. UP is currently building expressway faster than any state. They're trying to copy the South model. Infrastructure first, industry later. We have to understand that India's growth engine is the South, but India's biggest market is the North. South needs the North to sell its product. North needs the South for capital and jobs. We cannot separate. We're locked in a marriage. But to save this marriage, South India has shown that it is possible. Now it is North's turn to prove that demographic is not destiny. Until then, these two maps will remain India's biggest reality check.